So hello and welcome to Dommy Tries This. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is one of the two cat coffee mugs that my husband got me from DragonCon this year. On the back it says, "Meow, the force be with you." And it is by Jenny Parks. And you can find her coffee mugs and her artwork at jennyparks.com. I will link it below for you. But it's one of the other mug is my Wonder Woman, so he did a really good job with picking out mugs. But then it doesn't take much with me and a coffee mug. Today's tea is the Stash Tea Chocolate Mint Oolong. I haven't had this one in a while, but yeah, I think if I recall, I liked it. Considering the bag of stuff I still have left in this box right here behind me. Plus, I just recently restocked my crates. So, yeah, I bought a lot of tea from Stash. But let's go ahead and give this a taste and get started. This has been steeping for a little while, and the flavor is still very, very light. But you do get the chocolate, and you get the mint sort of on the building up on the back end. So like I didn't taste it initially, but now it's kind of building in my mouth right now, and then it starts to fade. It's a beautiful flavor. Very good. Very, very good. And you get more of it the second sip. So it's a very good tea. So today is a whole and healthy Wednesday, and we're getting back to talking about food, but we aren't going to be talking about the diets and things yet. Got some other stuff I want to actually cover in food. But first, let's talk about our old and new. And very quickly, if you hear humming in the background, my son is finishing up his vacuuming for the day. Anyway, so old and new. Most of my new is going to be coming from my subscription boxes. But we have a couple of other things. On the old, for eyeshadow palettes, I'll be working with the ColourPop Semi-Precious today. Probably primarily that shade right there. And I'm also going to be playing with a few of the shades in my Lorac Shine Bright palette. Some of the paler shades. I haven't played too much with most of these neutrally colors, so I'll probably throw one or two of those in. Not too much coming out of this one, I don't think. I have an idea of where I'm going to start, but anyway. My primary palette is going to be a new palette, and it's the It's My Pleasure palette. I just love these colors. I love this color story. It's beautiful. So, yeah, we're going to play with that today and see how well this works and performs. Really old is the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. Going to use that for blush. I believe either the Ipsy or the Boxy Luxes, the larger boxes, got one of these in there. This is one of my favorite blush palettes. I had another blush palette, but I gave it to one of my daughters because even though I liked it, this one has more colors, and I just really enjoy this one. And for the new, we've got the Pretty Vulgar highlighter from my BoxyCharm. I might end up throwing in something else. The color on this one is really kind of muted so far for me, and I think that has to do with it being really close to my skin tone. Also old and new. So for new, I'm going to be working with the Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid. This is in the color 50 Creamy Natural. This is practically an exact match for me, and I just tried it for the first time on my live yesterday, and it was amazing. Today, we are going to try it with my Vichy mixed in and see what happens. This does say it is a foundation and hydrating serum, but we'll see what happens when I mix in my Vichy. And for old, but not quite so old, I'll be using my Bad Habit powder. Anyway, so food. What do I want to talk about with food again? It's actually not specifically food, although it's partly food. It's more about control. And I've been having a lot of problems with control right now. Unfortunately, Easter and Valentine's, that area has some of my favorite sweets in it. Just some, and Easter is worse than Valentine's for me. About there. So I'm going to use this color Primrose. I want to put that underneath my brow. I'm actually going to go ahead and use their brush for it right now. I think I just kind of had I don't know. I get into these phases where I just want sweets, and it's irritating and it's problematic in so many ways. But the biggest part about it is control. And that's what I more want to talk about, is control. If you're trying to eat something in moderation, you don't want to have it so that you're losing control. You want to be able to eat that item and then, if necessary, move on to something else. Or maybe you're trying to reduce, like me, I'm trying to reduce my amount of sugar, which is really, really hard during the Easter and Valentine's seasons. Christmas, for some reason, just isn't as bad for me, and I'm not sure why that is. And I'm also not sure why that showed up better on the one side than the other. So I'm going to move on. We're doing kind of a pink to purple look today. I've been really wanting it to be warm and sunny and all that stuff, and finally have one today. So I'm going to start with this fan fiction on the inner corner, and I'm going to dust it with the Earth Shine. I just swatched the Earth Shine and Mr. Sandman, which is over here, and they look more like toppers than actual being able to really fill out the color. So we'll just start with the Earth Shine and cover it with the we'll start out with the fan fiction, cover it with the Earth Shine. That'll go on the inner corner, and then I'm going to take Bare Minimum on the outer half of my lid, and then we'll go from there. So as I was saying, one of the things that I have trouble with right now, whoa, it's a lot of pink, that I've really been having trouble with right now is control. And this has always been a problem for me. Me and sweets are just, me and sweets. We will go with that. Me and sweets. It's terrible, guys. I'm telling you. I'm one of those people who will get a bag of candy and tell myself, okay, you're going to hang on to this for a while and it'll be gone in a day or two. Maybe 3 if I'm lucky. I have found that as I've gotten older, I'm not so big into chocolate, but, you know, sweets and sours, and I'm terrible. I admit it. I'm terrible. And the food isn't bad, and you should be allowed to eat and all this other stuff. But overindulging in sugars has its own issues. You can develop diabetes if you overload your body, I guess. I'm not quite sure how that works, but yes, you can develop diabetes. You can develop this. This fan fiction is highly pigmented. Okay, so now we're going to dust it with Earth Shine. It is a problem. So I've been really trying to work on... Okay, so that's not working. So the first thing I'm going to try, since this is not working the way it should, with a dry brush, I'm going to dampen my Sephora brush with some this NYX setting spray and see if we can bring some up that way. If that doesn't work, I have a disposable sponge tip applicator to use. So let's give this one a try. Well, that gave me a little bit more. It's disappointing. It's patchy and nothing to write home about. So let's try the sponge tip. Let's try the sponge tip. Sometimes even the pressed powdered shadows are a lot like the Super Shocks in that they do better with a sponge tip or your finger. I don't like using fingers. Anyway, so I've been trying to, yeah, the sponge tip, but did much better. I've been trying to develop some control, but I will admit it's touch and go. You know, I will do really well for a while, and then I will completely fall down the rabbit hole. Okay, I like how that one looks. That one came out nice. So control is one of those things, even if you're not dieting, even if you're not trying to lose weight, control is one of those things that, you know, I think we should develop. It's just healthy that way. It's healthier to not be gorging on, you know, even your favorite foods. You know, even healthy foods you shouldn't gorge on. You know, you should just find a way to enjoy your food in moderation. Now, I don't know why I am the way I am. I'm not sure I particularly care. I suspect at some point in my life, food became associated with comfort, the way it is for a lot of us. And, you know, when you live a stressed out, when you're stressed out, sometimes it's just easier to eat. As I've mentioned in the past, I believe. So I'm going to take this again, and we are going to take the bare minimum and put it on the outside of, that's so soft. Hope the color works. Oh, it's there. It's not as dark as I thought it would be. But that's a nice shade to transition to. But anyway, it just, we've been struggling for some time. I was raised in in poverty. I wouldn't say I'm in poverty now, but we're one paycheck away, you know, like most of America right now. And that's stressful. It's stressful to be constantly trying to balance, you know, bills. You know, I have to buy things for the channel. Even if I'm on a low buy, I still have to buy something for the channel to keep it interesting. You guys aren't going to want to see the same products over and over again. It would get boring real quick. So I've got to think about those things. I gotta say, that's the one nice thing about writing. You do, you know, you do very, at least when you're initially doing the writing, you're not doing a whole lot of investment except in time. Although time is a big investment in itself. But yeah, so stress is one of those things that can trigger eating in me. And then when you add stress at a time where, oh, I like that. I like how that turned out. When you add stress at a time when, you know, all the favorite foods are out. It gets really, all the favorite sweets in particular, it gets really hard to sit there and go, okay, no. It really does. I'm struggling with that, and I'm sure a number of my subscribers struggle with that on a fairly regular basis. And I'm not talking about like, you know, Christmas dinner or, you know, a family picnic or the 4th of July barbecue. I'm talking about something that's more like, you know, like right now we have the Valentine and Easter thing. It is much easier to grab some of my favorite candies during these 2 or 3 months because they start bringing out the Valentine stuff at the beginning of January and the Easter stuff stays till mid-April. It's a big chunk of time to have some of your favorite stuff that's not out any other time of the year available, and makes it really difficult to not want to grab it and have it in the house. And if you're like me, like I said, you can get through that so quickly. It's really difficult to resist it. And you have that in your back of your head. Well, you know, it's going to be gone in 3 months or whatever. So you try to get some of it and then you eat it up and then you go get more. And it's a problem for me, I admit. Okay, so I'm going to use this color right now, which I believe is Easy Go. I'm not sure. It might be Beam Me Up, but I think it's Easy Go. The way they have this, I'm never sure about the... I should check if they have these shades on the site and reorder them so that the actual color that is above its name on the back, because seriously, this ColourPop confuses me. Anyway, going to use that in the crease and going out to the corner. So I do have a few tips on that can help. They don't always... Okay, get. Shadow, go away. Psst, go. It has started warming up, and the cats have started being kind of crazy. It's all. They want out, and they're being crazy. They're just being nuts. Shadow in particular. Okay, so hopefully they're now settled. I have kind of a triangle. I have sorrow down here, I have shadow over here in the window, and I have gambit down here. And shadow is the one that's the instigator. It's just terrible. So anyway, as I was trying to say, I'm taking this color right here, putting it in my crease and out to the outer edge. I have actually developed a few things that seem to help a little bit. The first one being, don't buy it. Don't go down the aisle. Don't buy it. Doesn't always work because, you know, you crave things and you really want to have your treats once in a while. But that's the first thing. Here's the thing with my grocery store. My grocery store is evil. My grocery store tends to put the holiday stuff in the same aisle as necessities like toilet paper. And what I have found that I have to do if I'm going to sit there and tell myself I'm not buying this today, I have to go up a different aisle and go around the back and go pick up my toilet paper, go back out the same way, and then go down the next aisle. That's the only way. Otherwise, I will be caught looking for the things that I enjoy. And the things that I enjoy, my kids don't understand. Like, I like the Brock's conversation hearts. Actually, I'll take that back. I like the large conversation hearts. They were not out this year. They're supposed to be out again next year. I like those. And then I like the candy-coated marshmallow eggs. I know. My kids tell me I have terrible taste when it comes to sweets. Shadow got out of the window. I had to make sure he weren't going to attack Sora again. So anyway, that's my first suggestion. I'm now going to take this chiclet and deepen up my crease. If you're going to try to avoid buying something, just don't even go down that aisle. Whether it's cookies, crackers. There's some aisles you can't avoid. Like, if you're going to get milk, the yogurt's going to be nearby. Although, honestly, I'm not sure you can overdose on yogurt. You might. I have found that I hit my limit with yogurt. But somebody out there might not. But anyway, there's some things. Cheese. People love cheese. Anyway, there are some places where it will be hard for you to do that. So, but that is a first option, is to attempt to avoid the whole thing. Just don't even tempt yourself. If you've already had your bag or 3 for the year, then just be like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm not having any more. Don't go down the aisle. The second thing that I do is I do substitutions. So, like, there's certain candy bars that I really like. It's just not work for the eggs and things, but it does work for, say, peppermint patties, other kinds of candy bars. And what I do for those is I try to replace them with like a healthy kind bar. You're going to have about the same amount of calories. If you can get a healthier bar and still get your sweet fix, you could probably save a few calories if that's what you're worried about. Get your fix. And one of the things I really like about the kind bars is I can get that fix and, why is this not going up? There we go. Also get a bit more of the textures that I like. I like mixed textures on my food. I have noticed that. I really like mixed textures on my food. We need something light in the middle. All right. I'm liking it so far. I need something light in the middle. But the first thing I'm going to do is do some blending. So I don't drop everything. Well, that didn't even need a lot. Just to get it to meld. Oh, I like it. I like it. It's really pink, but I like it. I'm in a really pink mood, I guess. So I think we'll go back into our Lorac Pro. And I'm going to brush the center with some of this vanilla. So for me, you know, like for the peppermint patties, there's a company called Balance that makes a balance bar that is like a peppermint patty. I'm going to take this color, Do or Dough. I'm going to go ahead and go under my lower lash line, and then I'm going to take that on the outer corner a little bit too. So I found the Kind Bar Peppermint Patty. I can't get it locally anymore. I have shit tons of fallout, guys. Shit tons of fallout, if you'll pardon me. It's huge. The amount of fallout on my face is astonishing. It's very odd for the ColourPops I've tried in the past. But anyway, I'm going to have to, if I want to get those, I'm going to have to literally buy them by the case from the website. I think they're available at Walmart. Not Walmart. I tried looking at Walmart. Walmart never carried Balance. My Kroger used to. They don't anymore. They stopped carrying Balance a bit back. Sorry about that. Mailman just came to the door. We were talking about the bars, I think. So as I was saying, I actually have to order the Balance bars, and the Kind bars I have found don't like match to any particular candy bar. It's not like you can sit there and go, okay, I really like a Payday, or I really like an Almond Joy, and find that specific flavor profile. But most of the Kind bars have a combination of the flavors like coconut and chocolate, or peanut and caramel and those kinds of things. And so while they won't be an exact match for whichever candy bar you're thinking about, wondering if that's a little too sharp, but we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to soften it without going too far, if possible. Use this brush. There we go. Softens it out a little bit, but didn't get rid of it, whereas the previous time I think it got rid of. And we are going to add a little bit of bare minimum on the outside again, because it sort of got buried. Happens. So anyway, that's another way I deal with some of my sweet cravings. I will go and I will get, you know, some sort of replacement that can help. Again, just touching up. I'm actually not losing anything, or at least not much yet. So that's fine. Just sort of bumping up the colors around where I put the lighter stuff, just to make sure they're still visible. All right, now to clean up this mess. And like to replace ice cream, I find, you know, we have hit the stage of everything is falling down. Like I was trying to say, to replace ice cream, get yogurt. You can get frozen yogurt. There's dairy ices. Basically, just try to find something. If you're trying to limit particularly the sugar, or if you're trying to limit particularly, you know, the calories, you can find stuff that is lighter in both of those, healthier than both of those. I'm going to brush all this fallout off. Crazy amount of fallout. I don't think I've seen this amount of fallout in the ColourPop one since I've owned ColourPop. Looks like it's mostly the glittery shades, but it's not just the glittery shades. I mean, it's just nuts. Fortunately, it didn't stick. So, at least not well. Some of the glitter is still stuck on my nose. But yeah, you can find substitutes you can that are healthier for you and will still satisfy the craving. I'm struggling right now because, like I said, those sweets that I really like are out right now. And it's really hard to sit there and go, no, you can't have that, when the thing that you really like is available. So that has been my current struggle, is telling myself to bypass the candy aisle, telling myself to eat a kind bar rather than something else, or an ice cream bar, or whatever. And the other thing is trying to figure out how to limit the intake, not get rid of it entirely. Because like I said, you know, if you enjoy something, you should have it. You shouldn't, if you deny yourself the stuff that you enjoy, you are not going to stick on that particular food plan for very long. You're just not. It's just not going to work. Just not. You know, or you'll stick on it long enough to lose the pounds, and then as soon as you're at whatever weight that it is that you want to be at, you'll be at it again, because they're things you enjoy. So you want to limit the amount in some way without completely denying yourself. One of the things that I used to do, and this was a while back, this is when I was actually dieting, I went, and what I did, we lived right next to a grocery store. Don't think it was a Kroger, but it was a grocery store. It was like, there was our apartment complex, and there was a grocery store. It was just right there. So if I had a good day and I did my exercise, now I don't recommend that this is the way you should do it. Don't use food as rewards. Don't use food for punishment. Don't use exercise to work off food. Move in ways you enjoy. You guys need to stop. Move in ways you enjoy moving, and just enjoy your food. Don't treat it like this. But this was back when I was in diet culture. I had had my second child, or just before I got pregnant with my second child, actually, come to think of it. Because I was in Weight Watchers at the time. And really wanted to lose some of the baby weight. They won't let you do that when you're pregnant in Weight Watchers. They said, oh no, you're pregnant. You can't do this right now. Okay. And they're right. You know, when you're pregnant, you shouldn't do this right now. But during that time period, if I was having a good food day, if I was having a good day, I got things done, and I wasn't overeating, and I stuck to my plan, and all of that stuff. I tried not to make it too restrictive. There's a lot of growling going on. I'm waiting for a big cat fight right now. I tried not to make the plan too restrictive, but I did try to make it so that I just wasn't going over willy-nilly, so to speak. But if I'd had a good day and all of that stuff, I met whatever requirement I had for the day, whether it was food related or not. I would go over to the store, and they had a bakery area, and I would pick out one cookie. One. I would buy one cookie, and I would enjoy one cookie a day. And that actually worked for me for the longest time. I probably should have stuck with that. The thing is, for me, it's much harder when the nearest store is 3.5 miles away, and keeping it in the house is much harder to have that control. Trying to use up my color correctors, remember? Although I'm looking pretty damn dry underneath my eyes right now, so I don't know if this is a good idea or not. So that was something that was really useful. So if you're near a store, or, you know, maybe the store is on your way home, don't keep sweets in your house. Don't keep whatever it is in your house that you're having a problem with. And instead, stop by that store on your way home from work or whatever. And pick up that one item if you've had a good day. If whatever, but like I said, don't make it... don't make your food a punishment or reward for your food. So that was the one thing that I did wrong, is when I was doing that, quote unquote wrong. Like I said, for me it worked at the time, but it was part of the whole diet culture thing to say, okay, I've had a good food day, I can go ahead and have a treat. You shouldn't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. But to help, if it will help limit how much of it you eat, that's one thing you can do as well, is just not keep any of the food in the house and stop by the store and pick up whatever it is you want at the time, and allow yourself one thing a day. It worked for me for a while. The only problem with that now is, yes, there's a bakery nearby, but they don't have individual cookies like that for some reason. I mean, even though it's 3.5 miles, I could drive there in the evening if I wanted to go pick up a single cookie. I wouldn't do it, but I could. There are just too many nights we've got rain going on right now. I don't like driving in the dark and in the rain. But, you know, you could do it that way. But like I said, they don't have individual cookies. So I kind of have to keep that stuff in the house if I'm going to treat myself for it. And that's where the problem comes from. But at the same time, I don't want to take that stuff completely out of my house. I don't know what I've got going on over here, but looks like I've had something scratch or something over there, and it's looking red. I'm not sure what happened there. But anyway, yeah, I just, you know, those are, three options for you. Don't go down the aisle. Find a good, healthy replacement. Treat yourself once a day. Biggest thing is to not have it in your house, particularly in large quantities, and figuring out what works for you. I would really love to hear some of your suggestions down below about how you deal with your cravings, and without denying you your cravings, if that made sense. Anyway, I'm going to go and finish up my face now, and I will be back in about 2 shakes. So here's our finished look. I hope you like it. I'm actually pretty pleased, other than the fact that I'm already losing in here and I've had to touch it up several times, but that's not unusual with my eyes. Just love these colors. I love the way this palette has generally worked out. The topper shades I think could be improved, but the other colors, this purple and this purple in particular, this pink, are really nice. This one is buildable, so overall it is a nice palette. I'm very pleased with it. No surprise, it's ColourPop. I like ColourPop, generally speaking. But, yeah, and my hair is, tried something different with the hair, and we are just out there today. Not a bad thing, just out there today. But this is the look, and I hope you enjoy the whole look. And to finish up, we're all going to have cravings and things. We all have things that we really, really enjoy that can make us kind of lose control, so to speak. Try to figure out how to make something work in moderation for you. And that's the real challenge, is instead of overeating, finding a way to have the things you enjoy, but in that moderation. And like I said, there's various tips. You could just have yourself, one treat a day. You could replace it with something that has a similar flavor and texture. A lot of the things that we like in food have to do with textures. And for me, though, it's just a sweet thing. So it's definitely a sweet thing. Or flavor. Sometimes you think you're craving one thing and really something else can satisfy the craving. Like sometimes I find that I'll be craving something and I'll be craving some sweets, because that's usually what it is. I'll be craving some sweets, and I can find that having a piece of bread can help, because it's not the sweets particularly, it's that you want more carbohydrates or something like that. Having a piece of fruit. Occasionally, I have found in the past, I have some right now, but they're just not doing it for me. But I have found in the past that for me, cherries are like candy to me, and cherries are a healthy thing. So if I can get some good sweet cherries, a lot of times that will take care of that craving. So tricks like that will really help, and some combination of tricks like that should help. You will find times that, like I'm having right now, where that is very difficult avoiding. Even if you avoid the candy aisle or whatever aisle it is you need to avoid, sometimes that stuff will still find its way in your house, if not through you, through your husband, through your kids, through somebody. Find a way to moderate it then. I have tried things like having somebody else hold on to it. Doesn't work. I get pissed off when they don't give it to me when I want it. Sometimes you just have to go through it, say, that's it. I had my bag of candy. I'm done. No more buying. Just find the tips and tricks that work for you to help you get through those phases. Because that's pretty much what you just need to do, is get through those phases. And I'd love it if you would share some of those things down below. But above all, don't use food to punish or reward. Don't use exercise to burn off the food. Do the things you love to do because you love to do them. And don't deny yourself entirely. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope my meandering way has made some kind of sense to you. Please share some of your experiences down below for some of our other dragonettes that are either with us now or will come to be a part of the family in the future. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you have liked what you've seen, and that if you're not a subscriber, that you will subscribe. And if you do subscribe, please hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. I currently upload 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. But we do occasionally have bonus uploads. If you're already part of the notification squad, you're going to want to check your bell and your subscription, because yes, indeed, people are finding those still being knocked off. And if you don't want to subscribe, well, we would be very sad, but we also understand, because I'm not everybody's cup of tea. However, you're always welcome to come back. We always like company here. And if you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. Now, I suspect that this tea is not a good tea cold, and it is cold, but we're going to give it a sip and see how it goes. Okay, this is an odd one. The initial sip is good cold, because you get the chocolate. But there is something about the mint on the back end that changes that just doesn't work for me. It's a good tea. I will probably heat up this cup and finish it up later. However, yeah, that back end sip is just a little too much, I think, on the cold end. I'm going to have to warm it up to finish it off. Anyway, you all have a great day.